You ever wonder what happened behind the scenes between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe? Or did some of their arguments that we saw happen in front of us, was it any beef before then? Or what happened to the people who worked with them, in fact, worked with them on the inside? Well, Joy Taylor was recently on Cam Newton, and she gave us some insight about the situation between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. So without any further wait, let's get into it.
The Skip and Shannon dynamic when the cameras were off.
So when I was on the show, which is all I can speak to, was that show was like the epitome of the debate format.
Yes.
When we launched the show, it was truly debate. So we would come in, we do the prep meeting.
You can see this on
Shannon, you're
Cam
going to go to
Newton's
Shannon first on this
YouTube.
topic. Joy, you're going to tee up Skip on this topic. You know,
Y'all
we
go ahead and
have
check
this
'em out.
guest at this time, you know, stacking the show.
Mm-hmm.
In the breaks, everyone goes their separate ways. I'm checking my notes. Shannon's walking around, doing whatever he does, checking his notes, whatever. We're all doing our different things. But the animosity of the conversation ended once the block was over. Like next block, the next block, there is no carryover. There's no you said this. Like it was a true debate format show.
For the red light, just when they were recorded.
No. I mean, they were having authentic debates.
Yes.
But I'm saying there wasn't animosity, because I know that there's like this idea that, and I cannot speak to that. I wasn't on the show. When we launched the show, we were all over the country. We were doing live shows everywhere. They were excited to come together. We did a great show. I enjoyed every second of being on that show. It taught me a ton about doing live television, about being able to pivot, doing shows with crowds, doing shows at the Super Bowl and US Open and McGregor Mayweather, and bringing guests on and guests canceling and the prompter doesn't work, and everything that you could possibly learn about doing, a 2-hour, 2.5-hour live television show in an intense format. But once the cameras were off, it was like, okay, we're on to the next block.
So now she's just speaking on when she was there for what she saw. And probably in the beginning, you remember how Skip Bayless praised Shannon one day. And they seemed to be very happy working together, even though they would have intense conversations. Skip was happy that there was somebody there to challenge him and bring out the best in him. And then, of course, we saw it all went wrong. But let's go ahead.
There wasn't any animosity post-cut.
No.
Right.
Not when I was on the show.
Yeah. But when you witness the departure, seemingly, the thoughts that kind of go through.
Again, I hate speaking on things that I did not have proximity to.
Yeah.
What I will say about those type of shows is, and we've sort of gotten away from that, pure debate, like one-on-one format show. Like most shows are panels now.
It's talent though. It's heavily like Shannon really held his own. Skip was obviously a person that
for sure. And Shannon grew immensely in that show. I mean, we did that show for a long time. Look, nothing lasts forever. It doesn't. People wear of each other. Friends break up, shows get canceled, networks shut down. The idea that everything is going to have this happy ending is, it's a fantasy. It's not how most things work. I can't speak to exactly what happened between the two of them or how it all broke down and disintegrated. I think that when you're doing an intense show where you're essentially arguing with each other, you have to maintain a level of it's like a boxing match, right? Like at the end, you hug, you shake hands, you have a respect for your opponent. And that has to be maintained.
But do you think a line was crossed?
I think that, yes, I think you have to.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think a line was crossed? And I believe Skip crossed it. And when Shannon challenged him on him crossing the line, Skip was almost condescending, speaking to him almost like he was his parent. Put your glasses back on. I know it took every bit of patience that he had not to snatch this man across the table. But go ahead. What do y'all think about that? And don't forget to subscribe.
You have to maintain respect for your co-host. Like for me, you never question your co-host's credibility. Because that's like the number one rule in television, in anything. If you're in news, if you're in pop culture and music, like the second that I say, Cam, why should you speak on this? You're not this. Well, why should I speak on this? Why should any of us have an opinion about anything? And particularly in sports, you don't have to be a professional athlete to have an opinion on something. Fans are not professional athletes. They have opinions about their teams. They're on message boards. They're watching these shows. They're creating their own podcasts. Like, that is not a prerequisite to being a sports fan, of having a sports opinion.
Yeah, it helps if you play the game because you have a different type of insight on it. But regular people, we all have eyes and brains too. So yeah, you're gonna have opinions, and it's okay to want to share them.
When you're doing a show with anyone, you have to respect their point of view from whatever it is that it's come from. And once you question that, it's like, well, why should the audience listen to you then? If I don't listen to you because I don't respect you, then why should the audience? So I think that's just important to maintain in any space.
The reason why I asked is because that was on display for the world to kind of see it unravel. And me being in this space as well too, on linear television, are there any barricades that you should never cross over? And if so, what are they? Obviously, you mentioned one, never question.
Yeah, I don't think you should question. You should not question your co-host's credibility, because it makes the show pointless. Why are we here talking to each other then? If you don't believe that I have any value in what I say because of my experiences, then
Skip has a way of treating you.
Neither one of us should be here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you don't want to bring up personal things. You don't want to get into a space where you're throwing things in people's faces. I mean, doing a show with someone, it's like a partnership. There's a trust there. You don't want to throw something back at someone, or you want to set each other up for success. If you're going on something where you are truly an opponent, like we're having a political debate or something, like, yeah, sure, make them look stupid. Like, that's what you're trying to do. These are things that matter. This is life or death conversations. But when we're talking about sports, like, it should just never get that serious. You have to maintain. Here's what I'll say. You've got to maintain composure. We're doing things that inherently require ego. Getting in front of a camera and thinking that your point of view matters requires a certain amount of delusion and ego. It just does. You can never allow your ego to take over the situation and work yourself up into a place where you're saying things that you would say, like when you're arguing at home. This is not the place for it. You have to stay composed. When you're ranting about something, you've got to stay composed, especially if it's live. If once what you're saying is out, it's out.
You don't get no hey, let's edit.
Yeah, we can't clip that off.
Yeah. I think going through what I've been through, you realize that Skip is genius. Colin, especially genius. When I think about a colleague, Stephen A. Smith, like, bro, being in it on the field, you don't really give the respect that you're just like, bro, you ain't never, that's the easy way. Like, man, you ain't never played, or you hating. But then when you really see the body of work, it's like, ooh, I see what you did. I see how you prepare. And I see how you brought it out, for the world to kind of understand your point. But do you think Shannon Sharpe gets the credit that he deserves?
I think Shannon, I think people are big fans of Shannon and big supporters of Shannon, and they should be. Shannon has worked really hard.
Yeah.
Shannon and I came in at the same time at Fox, but obviously had done television prior to that. But in this space where it's, you're going up against one of the giants in the industry of Skip Bayless leaving ESPN to go to Fox and launch this show to compete with First Take, like, that's a big thing to step into. And I saw firsthand how hard Shannon worked to build.
It's too bad. A lot of his hard work is pretty much starting to go down the drain because he had indiscretions with a woman who didn't have his best interest at heart. Whew, that's another thing. We have to be very careful about the people we let in our lives. Let that be a lesson. What Shannon Sharpe should be a lesson, not just to athletes, but to people in general. You should not be around anybody that doesn't have their best intentions for you as well as them or your relationship together. People will show you that right away. I know this doesn't have much about to do about the video, but since we talked about Shannon Sharpe, and that's what right now, that's why everybody is speaking on Shannon Sharpe. I figured I'll drop that in there as well.
You know, his skills, his TV persona, and I think, I mean, I'm sure he may not feel that way right now, but yeah, Shannon is an incredible talent.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think a lot of people know how long he's been around. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like, young people only think of him as like Uncle Shay Shay, but like,
yeah,
he's a Hall of
but
Fame
bro, he
player.
definitely played football at a high level.
One of the
and
best
then
tight
he
ends ever.
was covering sports for a long time, and then everybody just thinks, oh, the Cat Williams situation. It's like, no, like he's extremely brilliant. You know,
well, that was the Cat Williams situation, was his crossover moments.
Yeah.
To non-sports fans in like a real lasting way. But if you're a sports fan, you're aware of Shannon. And from just as someone who studies their business and has worked in this business a long time and saw him working firsthand, he has worked very hard to become the talent that he is, and he deserves credit for that.
Well, this particular
Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of this video, but what do you guys think? She said that at the end of the day, while she was there, no matter how intense it got, that they would move when the cameras went off, they would move on to the next situation. It wasn't any animosity. And I believe that. I don't think the line was ever really crossed until that day they got into it about Tom Brady and how Skip told him he couldn't speak on it because he was never as great of a player as Tom Brady. And that, like Cam said, that's just taking an easy way out. We all have eyes, we all have brains, we all see, hear, feel, taste. We all observe things. So we all have opinions. And I feel like whether you will agree with somebody or you don't, you should respect people's opinions and don't totally diss it just because he might not be as great of a player as Tom Brady. Although Shannon Sharpe was a terrific player, he shouldn't have been dismissed like that. And that's, of course, we all know what ended up with the breakup of that show. He ended up leaving that show and going on to ESPN and other things. And his own podcast, which does very well still. But anyway, let me know what y'all think about this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I am out for now. Peace.